So Eric, what's happening?
What's happening?
Yeah.
I mean, we're at the VPI house in New Jersey.
Oh, wait, sorry. VPI house, yeah.
Yeah, we're at the VPI house in New Jersey, enjoying this beautiful lunch.
Yeah.
We're listening to Pure Audio Project, 5th anniversary.
Yeah.
It's also the launch party of their new Classic 15, which is like a altogether unboxed, ready-to-go speaker. It's open baffle. It's got a really nice driver in the middle.
Yeah.
It's akin to their existing product.
Yeah, but, it kind of looks like a quad 63.
And that's the story that we're going to tell why we're here.
Oh, that's
but
why
we're also here for
the food.
The food.
Yeah.
The camaraderie, the storytelling, the hanging out.
Yeah.
The party.
So you should say who you are. You're not just a really good-looking guy.
I'm
eating
okay.
Food.
It's the food. The food makes me.
You're in the audio biz, sort of.
Sort of, yeah. I mean, I kind of got wormed into being an audio journalist somehow.
I always think that word audio. That's funny.
I mean, if it was really,
journalist?
No, we're not really
Are we like
journalists.
Woodward and Bernstein if we combine? Would we be that good?
We're not. No. Yeah, and I've had discussions about how unjournalistic we really are.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, I'm a
writer. Maybe.
I'm a writer, more photographer, and I'm not even that good at photography.
Oh, you're really good.
Yeah, I'm okay. We're kind of like cheerleaders, advocates, and hunting dogs for the audio industry, for the readership. I mean, we guide people towards what to go listen and hopefully decide on with their own ears. I mean, you could say that we're arbiters of taste.
Yeah, I like the modern word. We're influencers.
Influencers is a thing. I don't know how much staying power that position or term has, because it's kind of, I'm going to say it's post-peak, but I'm just thinking that it's also, that's a tough one. That's a 3-hour conversation on philosophy about the word influencer and the role that those play.
But the thing is, seriously, since I'm old and I come from the days of brick and mortar,
right?
People would wonder about something they read about in Audiophile or something. They go to a store and hear it. Since that's not possible a lot of the time for people, they read about it or watch videos, and that gets them either more interested or less interested.
Yeah, I mean, we're kind of like a guide. We're kind of like reconnaissance for, I think, the readership and the viewership in your case, which is a useful tool. But at the end of the day, I don't think we ever want to be in the "this is good, I like it, so you should buy it." I still believe that. In the end of the day, trust your own ears.
Absolutely.
Have the confidence to make that decision on your own, but use us as kind of like reconnaissance or sniffing dogs, like the bloodhound that helps you find what you're interested in.
Yeah, okay.
And we can impart our own flavor, but
I think it's more important. Seriously, I think for audio writers, I think describing the product and describing the sound rather than saying this is the best. I mean, I do admit that sometimes I wind up saying things like that, but what I'm really trying to do is saying, here's what it sounds like. If that appeals to you, then maybe this is the right thing.
I look at it kind of, there's an old theory about like the absolute sound or ultimate realism that people have been chasing, which kind of funnels everything down to one path or design, which doesn't leave a lot of room for open baffle speakers, box speakers, magnepans, just different styles, whereas I look at things like from a connoisseur standpoint. I'm not a kind of guy that would say Pinot Grigio is just the it of everything. This is the way it should be.
I'm only going to drink that for the rest of my life.
Yeah, I'm not going to drink one wine for the rest of my life. I'm going to drink and enjoy many. So I'm a connoisseur. And when it comes to audio equipment, I'm a connoisseur, same way. I think that there's many ways to skin a cat to make it enjoyable. I like swapping in and out of things in my system as much as possible. Because I enjoy all of them.
And it's interesting. I didn't realize how many people out there have multiples. Like I have 7 speakers and 3 amplifiers.
Yeah, I mean, to me, my stable of speakers, if I had to do it, would be a couple of open baffles, a couple of electrostatics, a couple of bookshelves that I like. And then you could say, well, Eric has a tendency towards this direction. Maybe there's some underlying, key factor with all the speakers I have. Maybe they're not all warm. Maybe they are all a warm, sounding.
I like contrasting speakers.
But I like contrast, and I like the diversity, and I just think that all of it, it's all cool, it's all good.
I liked having, well, I don't have that either right now, but I like living with zoos and magnepans.
Yeah.
I want opposite. I want contrast.
Yeah, and I've even learned how to
state, analog, digital. I dig the contrast.
There's a speaker company that I was writing about for 2 years, following them, because I was like, I have respect for what they do, and I have respect for the kind of speakers they build, because they're historically important. I won't name the company, but it took me 2 years to find out how to enjoy it. And I kind of throw that as to like...
You put 2 years in?
Yes, 2 years into finding out how to enjoy this particular speaker.
Well, why won't you tell us what it is?
I don't want to say, because like it's because for 2 years I kind of had this bad... It's like maybe when you're trying to initiate someone into Scotch and the first thing they taste is an ashtray. That's what happened to me. I sat in front of these speakers and I said, there's no way possible that anybody could love this speaker. It's $100,000. If it was $10,000, I wouldn't buy it.
But why did you try for 2 years?
Because I wanted to find out why. Well, they were selling to people.
Oh, okay.
And, you want to get in the mind of the manufacturer, because obviously the manufacturer likes the sound.
Right.
And obviously the people or his mother, and obviously the people who buy it like this sound. So I'm like, what am I missing? What am I missing? Like, because like if I couldn't find myself like appreciating a wine, I want to know that maybe that the problem is me. I haven't learned how to appreciate it yet.
Okay. Yeah.
And I took the time and I found out how to appreciate this product. And I wrote about it at this point where the nexus of my understanding of it.
We should say you write for Part-Time Audio.
Which, yeah, I do write for Part-Time Audio. And I wrote about it, and the best thing happened. In the comment section, a guy who had bought those speakers came in and he goes, yes, you have nailed it. You have said it better than I could. This is why I spent $100,000 on these speakers that a lot of people, maybe it's not their bag, but you get it. And I felt really validated that my work had paid off, that I had finally got to the point where sagacity had won. And I was able to...
I don't know what that means, but it sounds good.
It's the act of being sagacious.
Oh, well,
know, but it's observant. Right. And but putting in the work was able to get me to appreciate that speaker. Now, I don't think it would be something if I had $100,000 just sitting around. I think there's other things I would still buy. But this particular product, I do understand the people who listen to it and like it. It is a cult. But I totally understand how they're into that product. And I look at actually... Some things are undeniably good, and like it's just so easy to say, oh, I could review that and just gush about it because it just is good.
Right.
But then there's those products where like I think if I were to review that speaker, there'd be some explaining to do. And I would have to put in some caveats and be like, look, but if this is your bag, it will tick all the boxes. And because it's just capable. It's a $100,000 speaker that's amazing if it's your bag. But it ain't my bag, baby. Not at all.
Pop's got a brand new bag.
Yeah.
So, I've been thinking about this, and I'm going to do a video, and I asked some of my friends who are photographers, I said, is there a connection between being a photographer and being interested in audio? And the two guys that I asked, both of you said, no, it's just a coincidence. And I say, I don't believe it. I think there's something about love of gear first.
Right, it's a love of gear.
Photographers don't usually have one camera, they have 72 or 39 or something.
So the question you're asking is actually how I got started in being a member of the Audiophile Press Corps.
Okay.
I was kind of getting tired of audio. Maybe, it's always going to be around in my life. But at one point it wasn't fulfilling the hobby of, I wasn't reading about it as much. I didn't have upgrade-itis. I was quite content with the hobby as it was.
Wow, that sucks.
It does. And just about that time, I started picking up photography because it was a new, interesting thing to learn about.
Okay.
And the education process is always...
Yeah.
That's probably what I was more interested in than photography. It was learning something.
Right.
And I picked up photography, and it just at that nexus again where I was going to an audio show, but I took my camera, and I was really studying what people were doing at the audio show. And I took a bunch of photos of an audio show that had a lot of people in them because I wanted to add context to the audio show to show people, really, I don't know who I was showing because I had no audience. I wanted to capture the audio show from a human aspect. And Scott Hull with Part-Time Audiophile saw that, and he was like, can I use these photos? You know, because it's like, you know, you're showing a side of the audio show that's usually, audio show coverage is product, a blurb, availability, street date, and price. And I was like, no, I kind of want to talk about the people either behind the product or listening to the product, or even show that like maybe an audio show is much more fun than you think it is.
Maybe you are a journalist.
Maybe I am. Well, again, sagacity is part of the journalistic purview. But I went to an audio show, and next thing you know, Scott Hull's like, can you give me context to go along with the photos? Next thing you know, 300 words turns into 500, 1,500, 4,000 words here and there. And now I have to be...
Boom.
Now I'm a writer, apparently, and I
ding,
hate
ding,
it.
ding.
I hate writing.
Did you know that I gave up writing?
You did give up writing?
Yeah. Today, I posted today is Saturday, what is the 15th?
Here's the fun.
Today's the August 15th.
Well,
right?
you know, that
17th.
That kind of relays into something I've been thinking about for about 10 years. When I found you, I found you through the 404, which a lot of people outside of the hobby found you through the 404.
Interesting.
A lot of young people found you through the 404. It was a podcast on CNET with Justin Yu, Wilson Tang, and Jeff Bakalar. And you came in as a guest on that podcast often, and you brought to a whole swath of younger generations who were technically savvy something else to be possibly technically interested in. And you had a very young audience. I was already a member of the audiophile community as far as like a hobbyist, but I recognized that you had this unique audience that I always felt that maybe you weren't even aware of at the time, 10 years ago.
No, I wasn't, actually.
That your audience was as young as it was, and that you were influencing way back then. And I always said to myself, you know, and the way that you would tackle reviews and just articles, it was from a very passionate point, that like I looked up to you when it came time to write.
Wow.
In ways that I would like, how do I want to express myself? Probably a lot of ways like Steve.
Wow. Thank you.
And 10 years ago, I was like, you know, if Steve ever gives up the audiophiliac, I might do it. But then I started writing, and I realized writing sucks so bad.
Yeah, it took me a while to figure that out.
Yeah, but then I also realized, because I was struggling with writing, and I went to a workshop where the workshop was for struggling writers. And I realized that everyone there was like 30 times better the writer than I already was, and already had published works. And the person who was leading the workshop was like a world famous writer, and I was like, I spent $450 for a weekend to go learn how to write. But the thing that I learned was at that conference that writing does suck for everyone.
Yes.
And that even the best writers know how much it sucks. And everything I learned was like proverbs of writing. And I left with no instruction, but I left with that I wasn't alone, that writing sucks.
Right.
So now that I know that it is supposed to be hard and it's supposed to be annoying and painful, that I can continue to do it.
Yeah.
So like...
Yeah. I'm just taking a break because I did the CNET, the Audiophiliac blog for 12 years.
Right.
I did written for CNET for 18 years. I've
Right.
been writing for 22. And in the CNET years, the 18 years, I've never once taken a break.
Right.
I mean, when the rare times I take vacations to just write more before I go away. So I said, I need time off. So I'm giving myself time off till January 2020.
Yeah.
And I will decide at that point whether or not I'm going to go back.
I mean, if
I'm
you
not
need
sure.
a guest writer, kind of like maybe more like a Gary Shandling, less than a Jay Leno.
Yeah.
Because Gary Shandling didn't get the chair, but he dabbled in it.
Yeah.
Bless his heart. But if you want to give some space up to somebody, maybe one day.
Okay. But for now, anyway, I'm just explaining that today is the day, officially. Today's the 17th, right? I keep messing with the date.
Normally I would hear that news.
Yeah.
If I wasn't a writer already, I would hear that news that you stopped writing and I would shed a tear, but I'm happy for you.
Thank you.
Because I understand why you need a break.
I want to do this.
Yeah.
It's fresher.
It is fresher, and the audience, and the way that people consume.
Get back to me in 16 years, I'll tell you how I feel.
Yeah. And I'm glad that I was able to influence you.
You did. You're an influencer. You influenced me.
When it came to YouTube, I always say to myself, I don't say it to people.
Okay.
I stand in the shower under the water sometimes, and I go, man, that Steve Guttenberg video was so good today. I'm glad I told him to do it every day.
Well, Oh, you are definitely, you're not kidding around. You are definitely one of the people that encouraged me, and here
yeah.
I am today,
Yeah.
interviewing you and your food.
Yes, that beautiful food.
Yeah. So I think we're good.
Okay, cool.
My name's Steve Guttenberg.
And I'm Eric Shook with Part-Time Audiophile.
And that's who you are. And if you like these things that I do with my guests from time to time, please share these videos, like these videos, subscribe to this YouTube channel, follow me on Twitter at Audiophiliac and I think we're good. So thanks, Eric. Keep chewing, and I'll see you later.